Wait, yeah.
We're live?
Yeah.
We're doing live. Hey guys, it's Gabe of the Big Man Comics. Welcome in. If you're watching this, I need you. I really need you. Hit the like, hit the share. I'm just getting to work. I slept in today. I'm not ashamed. I'm not sorry. The last 2 days I got up at I think 5 something and 6 something a.m. and stayed up quite late, past midnight, past 1. So I was getting 4 hours of sleep and then 5 or 6 hours. Today I slept in. But I didn't go to bed until 1 a.m. But I slept in until 9. So I actually was asleep for 7, 8 hours. But I had to. So I'm getting a late start. I'm just barely starting drawing this. Had my coffee. I'm having some water now. But I hope you're having a good Friday. You made it. You made it to the end of the week. Depending on where you are in America, the rest of the world, you just got a few hours left of work. Or maybe if you're over in Europe or Asia, you're already off work and it's Friday night and you're having a good time. Congratulations to making it through another week. And congratulations to you for being here and watching me make this most excellent. So, open a cold beer. What it sounds like.
Sorry.
I'm not a drinker, but, it does. They do have a way of making it look good in commercials and all that, but it is not for me. It's not for me. But, just starting on this page, you saw me just laying out the panels there. And we're going to get going. We're going to get going on rendering these pages. I've had a great week. We've got a lot done. Great business meeting. I didn't sit in on this morning, but I did eavesdrop. So the marketing and all that, the launch, the crowdfund of Empyrean is taking more and more form. One thing I've learned in life, guys, and you got to learn things not the hard way, but everything in life is action. It's not just talking, right? Talk is cheap. You could just talk till cows come home. Have the cows ever come home? I don't know. And talking, it's not going to do anything. You have to do things. And one of the things that a person like me, with my background and my experiences, and I share this because I know many of you have gone through this, you have to learn not to do everything yourself. Maybe you had a childhood of abandonment or whatever, neglect, and it teaches you your needs don't matter, and people get angry when they find out you have needs. Therefore, you need to just hide it all and do everything yourself. Never ask for anything. That's disgusting that you would ever ask for anything. Spent too much of my life that way, and I've learned recently to delegate things for Big Man Comics. So I don't need to be the whole marketing wing and this and that and the other, and I can rely on people who are going to work in good faith and work hard and get things done for me. It's a little scary because I haven't lived most of my life that way. But my point is to any of you listening, the only way you're going to not be scared of it is to just do it. Nike, they couldn't have been more right in the 90s when they had that slogan, just do it. And I don't know what their slogan is now. I think their slogan has to do something with boys defeating girls in high school sports. I think that's what Nike's up to now. Or how horrible and racist the white man is. I think that's what Nike's up to. Something like that. Which is a shame. It was one of the great American brands. Now it's garbage. It's garbage. So, I don't know. But learning to not do everything myself and having the false assumption that no one would ever help me or support me is stupid. And I am not stupid, so I don't want to do and think and say stupid things. So learning to rely on people. I'm excited to hear more about the details after I'm done with the show today of what people think we should do for Empyrean in regards to launching it, marketing it, getting that crowdfund to wring out the most critical and commercial success we can. Because I feel like, okay, well, I've done my part. I did the art. I made the book. I wrote it. I colored it with some color assistance from some other guys I hired. The great Archie Van Buren and Blonde helped me color it. So it was a good time. It was a good time. So, but I'm having a great time. Had a great night last night. We reviewed Star Wars on my movie review improv comedy show. Had a great time. Had some questions about Star Wars, but it is still one of the greatest movies ever made. 77 Star Wars. But I talked to my friend, your friend and mine, Superman himself, Mr. Dean Cain. I talked to him before the show, and he just gave me such great news. So he was on Gutfeld last night because he's promoting his new movie, Little Angels, in theaters June 6th. Run, don't walk. Go and see it. I'm definitely going to check out Little Angels. Dean's been telling me about it for quite a while. He's been trying to get that distribution deal for a couple of years now. He filmed that movie, I think, at least 2 years ago, Adrian?
It's been a while.
I think he wrote, directed, and starred in that movie. So, and it's got a great premise. It's about a badass, Southern college football coach who makes some sexist remarks and he gets into a bit of trouble. Long story short, as his quote punishment, he has to go learn to be sensitive to girls, and it's not woke at all. He coaches a little girls soccer team, so I think you're going to have elements of like the Bad News Bears, a little bit of that Karate Kid mentorship. But then I bet you, if I know anything about screenwriting, I bet you it isn't just the girls that are going to learn. It's the tough old man that's going to learn. He's going to learn to be thoughtful and loving and all this stuff, and I think it's going to be great. So I'm very happy for Dean that he got his deal to distribute this movie, because I know he's been talking to me about it for a few years, and it's a quality project. And this sometimes in entertainment, Hollywood stuff, it churns very slowly. Sometimes things can be in what they call development hell for years. So I'm happy for him that this has worked out finally, and it looks like it's going to be great. But he was on Gut promoting it last night. But I was telling my wife in bed last night, right before we fell asleep. I think about my life sometimes and how lucky I am to know the people I know and have the projects and the work I have. And it's like, Gutfeld's top-rated show in the world, basically, like over 3 million viewers every night or something like that. And two of my collaborators, Tyrus and Dean, are sitting there. But the great news I got that had me flying is, there's what people say to your face, but then there's what they say when you're not around. Sometimes those things can be diferente, as they say in Espanol. And I text Dean. I said, "Oh, dude, awesome seeing you on Gutfeld. You and Tyrus, two of my favorite collaborators on one show. Amazing. Two guys I'm currently making comics with on one show. It's like kind of amazing for me to see that." And Dean's like, "Yeah, dude, we were talking about you in the green room. Tyrus is so pumped about the Tyrus comic." It's really good to know that when I'm not there and Tyrus doesn't know that I know what he's saying about me, that he's sincere in his enthusiasm for this project. Not that I doubted it, but it's just nice to know that people say stuff like that. That you guys all know what I'm saying, right? You find out someone was talking about you when you weren't there, and they were talking good. So that's nice to hear. So, but yeah, I'm very grateful, very thankful for what's going on. I think it's awesome, and I think it's just I always pray to God for His guidance and His blessing and stuff. And the biggest problems I had were personal problems, mental problems about. And I'm not a victim. I'm not special. So many guys, I feel a majority of people, at least in the West, have gone through this, of all that neglect that divorce causes, and then it just makes you kind of a basket case about some things in your life. And I always pray for that to be worked out. And God's not going to do it for you. Like, you can pray to lose weight or get muscles. Maybe God will get you some dumbbells and a diet, cookbook or something, but He's not going to diet and lift the weights for you. Could He? Of course, He's God. He can do anything. But I really feel like our free will is so important in the cosmic sense. And I don't know why, but it is, that it's important for us to do it. You know what I mean? The opportunity is obviously provided by God, but it's important for us to do it. Because if we don't do it and it's just done for us, then we're just like robots, right? We're not real people. It's just being done to us, and then it doesn't matter because we didn't do it. So I think working on my mental health about acceptance and help and all that stuff has just made leaps and bounds in the last few years that I've focused on it, prayed about it, and then just done the work, as they say. So you can ask my wife. It's something I'm constantly. It dominates my thoughts. It's something I'm always working on. Something I'm always trying to work on. Because I said it last night when I was on with Jericho, and I said it to you guys the other day on this show. I can't stop thinking about that quote from Carl Jung. Who's one of the most famous, psychologists and all that. Until the subconscious is made conscious, it will direct people's lives, and they will call it fate. And when you guys think about your life and the problems you have and the shortcomings and the dumb things you do, the dumb things you allow, it's from your subconscious. It's things you think about yourself and others that you're not aware that you really think. You're not really aware of it. You're not awake. And I'm not saying that to criticize you. I'm saying that to help you point it out. Because that was a lot of my life. Why am I doing this? Why am I doing like it? Because I used to weigh a lot more. I'm down to right around 260 pounds. It's still a lot, but I am very muscular, big frame, and I'm 6'4". So 260 pounds is not bad. I look good now and all that. But I was up to almost 320, 12 years ago. And that's the subconscious directing the conscious. Why am I eating an entire box of cookies? Why I used to drink. I don't touch alcohol. I've been an addict since 2017, not a drop. But why was I doing things that I didn't exercise, right? I didn't do it, and I would just eat shit because it tasted good, and getting pretty fat. Not good. And that's your subconscious, because what you're doing when you do that is you're managing anxiety. You have anxiety, anger, depression, whatever. You have bad feelings. And instead of like going, oh, what's going on in here? Fixing it. It's like, you know what? I'll eat an entire sleeve of pecan sandies. Doesn't fix the problem. So you have to wake up to your subconscious. What am I doing? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And just be honest with yourself. Because another trap you can fall into is you're ashamed to have problems. You're ashamed to be imperfect. So you won't admit to yourself or others that you actually have any problems. And you got to set yourself free from that. So it's powerful. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. And then it allows you to love. It allows you to be the most effective version of yourself that you can be. You can fully be a loving, kind, hardworking, honest, fully integrated man or woman, you know. But if you won't be honest with yourself, you're just not going to be able to. If you won't be honest with yourself first, then you're not going to be able to be honest with everyone. So I don't know if this is all too heavy. I don't care. It's what I really think. And that's what I want to share with you guys, because it's been tremendous for me. Lovely assistant, what's going on in the world? Anybody here? What's going on in the news? And what do you got for me?
Remdog says, how goes this Friday, Gabe? And then he said, weekend indeed. My cartoons this week have been performing sluggish, but thanks to some retweeting, my Friday tune is doing better.
Good. Yeah, I'll check it out and give it a retweet. Listen, you got to be patient. Don't get discouraged. You're going to do some of those comics and people are going to love them. You're going to do some and nobody's going to like them and no one's going to retweet them. But the only way it'll fail is if you quit, right? So the longer you do it, the funnier you'll get, the better drawing you'll get, the more fans you'll get. But it's all about consistency over time. I saw a clip of the great Scott Adams, and I pray he recovers because they said he has terminal cancer. But there was a clip, I don't know if it was from his podcast yesterday or if it was old, because it's a timeless message. But he was saying reframing thinking in your mind is a powerful way to change your behavior. And he said, what if laziness is just you're considering the cost of things too much and you're not focusing on the benefit? What if that's all laziness is? So, and I think so. Everything is mindset. So if you tell yourself, I'm going to keep doing my political cartoons, and I'm not going to let it discourage me when it gets one like or one retweet. There'll be days when it gets plenty. But if you just stick to it for enough days, weeks, months, and years, you'll be the king of political cartoons. As long as you stick to doing them and getting better at them. Because we all need to just keep getting better at the art we make. You can't just be at this level of artist and then just stay there forever. That would get stale to your audience. And how could you not grow doing this stuff over? So I grow with every pen and pencil stroke I put on paper or iPad. And you should be growing too. And you have to have a mindset of growth and focus on it. But yeah, the only failure in life is quitting. So yeah, I would encourage you to stick to it and really be proud of yourself, not in the wrong way, not in the prideful, arrogant way, but really have confidence that if you're doing the right thing, it's going to work. It's because it's just math at some point. If you just do something long enough, it just works. So have confidence that you're not going to lose heart and you're not going to quit, even if some of these comics go out there and they don't perform the way you want. You know, even Tom Brady lost 2 Super Bowls, right? But he won 7 or 8, right? He won 7. Even Michael Jordan lost games, right? But he's still one of the greatest ever. Or he is the greatest ever. Like these kids saying it's LeBron. Oh my gosh. We're not going to get into that.
You don't think LeBron's the king?
I think he's the king of being a crybaby bitch. Yeah, I think so. I think he's the king of that. How could you be like one of the most physically imposing, 6'8", made out of pure muscles, looks like he jumped off the comic book page. One of the most physically dominant looking players of all time, LeBron, and he's like softer than baby poop mentally. How? How could you look like Tarzan and then have the mentality of Jane? You know? It's insane to me. Because you'd be hard pressed to find more freaky looking dude than LeBron when it comes about. I mean, you got, there's a lot of great, powerful looking dudes. Many of them are lanky and weird and skinny. But there's been your Charles Oakley, your Derek Mason, Shaq, Hakeem. These guys are just monsters. And LeBron is one of them. He's just a monster. 6'8" of pure muscle. Should be more deadly than Conan the Destroyer. And he's up to crying about racism and wokeness and this. And oh my gosh. It's embarrassing. How? How are you that? Should be that masculine and you're just like a bait, like a, I don't know. It's the mentality of like a feminist. What?
Then the miser says even Tom Brady lost a few games. Don't get deflated about it. And Henry Thron says my son loves LeBron.
Well, your son is a kid, so I'm not going to blame kids. When I was a kid, I love stupid things too sometimes. So what are you going to do? You know, when I was a kid, I liked the pizza at Chuck E. Cheese, right? So
you got to give kids a break because sometimes they do the whole thing where they start liking a certain team that's not their hometown team because they won the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah, I was a big fan of the New York Giants for a week when I was in 6th grade or 7th grade, and they won the Super Bowl. I was drawing pictures of the players, and you know, up until they won the Super Bowl, I never even really knew anything about the Giants. I watched it was the first Super Bowl I ever sat down and watched. I got a bag of Chips Ahoy and some Ruffles chips because I knew you were supposed to have snacks. And I sat alone in my room because I got a television in my room, and I watched the Super Bowl by myself. So, and then I was a big fan of Jeff Hofstetler and all these different guys on the Giants when they beat the Bills. What a sad Super Bowl. The Bills missed that field goal to win the Super Bowl. Oh my gosh. You know that kicker still has like dreams about it. Wide right by like 3 feet to lose the Super Bowl. Oof.
That's so hard because they had like a 2-hour game before that to win. And then it falls on the shoulders of the kicker.
Yeah.
And then he's just demonized for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ramdog says, hot take. I prefer Larry Bird. And Henry Thron said, I loved Charles Barkley when I was a teen. And
I love Barkley. It's great. The round mound, a rebound.
Right. And Antonius 707 says, Joe Montana is greater than Tom Brady.
John Elway is the greatest. So there you go. Yeah. I think John Elway's greatest quarterback of all time. He could run. He had the arm. He had an arm like nobody. You know, the last time you saw an arm like that in recent history was like Josh Allen, you know, for the Bills. Who the Broncos could have drafted. But they drafted a defensive end they no longer have on the team. So. Josh Allen went to college at Wyoming, just, you know, north of Denver. Broncos never went to his college to evaluate him. He was right there. We got our guy now in Bo Nix, though. And yes, I say we, by the way. You know what I saw last night? And we're going to go into degeneracy here, but we don't promote degeneracy. We are against it, so we're going to mock it. I showed my wife this, and it's like cringy. Sydney Sweeney, young actress of some renown. She is very well known for being a beautiful young lady. Some app. There's a brand of soap for men. I don't know how soap for men would be different for soap for women, other than the branding. Dr. Squatch, I think, is the name of the soap brand, and they do a lot of themed soaps. I know they had some Star Wars soap and this, that, and the other, and it just sounds like clueless people. Like, what do men like? Ugh. But they have Sydney Sweeney's bathwater soap. I saw it. I saw it on Twitter. I saw an ad for it. And on the one hand, it's a lighthearted joke. I don't think this is serious. I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's more silly than anything. I do wonder, though, are there guys out there that are so, you know, they've never, like, you see all the statistics now. Young men, they're not having any sex. They're virgins well into their 30s. They haven't, like, you know, fill out anonymous surveys. They have not looked at a woman in, you know, 487 days. They have not come within 20 feet of a female. And they definitely haven't asked one out on a date. And it's not great. It's not great. So if you are buying like an anime waifu pillow or Sydney Sweeney soap, my recommendation to you would be get in the gym. Get in the gym. Focus on your money. Focus on your physical strength. Focus on God, getting your head right. And and your confidence will come. Confidence for men comes from mastery. It can't come from outside. A lot of hold on a second. In the last 50, 60 years of no fathers, people don't have validation. And you need it, men, but you don't need it externally. But now that's what everyone does. They go to get external validation, and it doesn't work. Getting external validation is the same as getting nutrition from Cheetos. Tastes good, feels good, doesn't do anything for you. Cheetos. And today's show is brought to you by Cheetos, by the way. External validation isn't real. It doesn't work. It's an illusion. So you will get your confidence as a man from mastery, and mastery is what you're watching me do. I do this in my studio alone mostly, and no one sees me do it. No one is standing next to me. Oh, okay, you're so good. You're such a great artist. Blah blah blah. All the cheering and the lights and the women and the paparazzi. That's not what it looks like. Over there, you can't see it. It's off camera. I have a full squat rack and bench press and everything. I lift weights religiously. No one sees me do it. But when it's time to lift something heavy, I can do it. So, and this is specific to men. It does not work the same way for women. Your confidence comes from within yourself when you master things. I can do this. I can do that. I can change a tire. I can start a fire. I can kill a spider. I can open a jar of pickles. Like, men, we are doers. That's what we are. We're machines that get things done. And if you can't get anything done, you're going to be depressed. You're going to feel terrible. And you're going to medicate. You're going to medicate with junk food, with pornography, which should be illegal, by the way, with video games, with too much Netflix, and whatever. So that's why I was talking to Ren Dog earlier about doing his comic strips. He has to gain mastery on that. You know what I mean? And mastery will just come through enough time. It's like you go to the beach, right? And it's all sand. There used to be cliffs and mountains there. And just given enough time, the rain, the wind, and the ocean waves destroyed mountains. Could you destroy a mountain? You would need so much dynamite and machines to destroy a mountain, but bloop, little raindrops just destroy mountains. And that's how your progress works. Just bloop, little raindrop. Given enough time, you can do anything and you can master things and you'll feel good about yourself. But chasing validation is a fool's errand because it doesn't work. And that's, again, this goes back to what I said earlier about being honest with yourself about yourself. And believe me, I'm not scolding any of you. I'm talking to myself the most here. The chasing the external validation, caring what people think, it's foolish and we shouldn't be that way. And if we had fathers in a proper sense like we used to in society for thousands of years, we wouldn't be this way as a people. You would have a dad get you by the shoulders when you're a little boy and say, hey, stop crying. You're going to do it. You're going to be okay. And then when the men introduce you to that world of men, instead of being a little boy and hanging around mama, you become a man and you start to gain mastery and you start to feel good about yourself. So if you're feeling down and depressed and everything, the first thing that's for everything is God, of course. And then the second part of that is the opportunities God's going to grant you to gain mastery, to gain success and all that. And it'll change everything for you. You know, so and don't if you're going to climb Mount Everest, do not stand at the bottom of Mount Everest and then look at the top. You go, man, that is sure is tall. You'll discourage yourself. All you do is look right in front of you. Look at the rock right in front of you at the bottom of Mount Everest. Take one step, then look at the next rock, take that step, and it's like those little raindrops. And if you could say to yourself, well, can I take a step? No, I can take a step. Can you take 5 more steps? And then every day you're just taking 10 more steps up the mountain. And no step is hard. No one step is hard. So just do it in bite-sized pieces in your mind like that. That I'm not climbing Mount Everest. I'm just taking a bunch of little steps that are easy. That's all you do to achieve anything. And be patient. Be patient. And I've said this for years, and it's as true can be. So it's going to take a long time. It's going to take years. You know what, bucko? The years are going to pass anyway. Right? So you say to yourself, my goal, whatever it is, medical school, blah, 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 open a restaurant business, whatever. It's going to take me 8 years. Okay, you're right. You're right. It might take 9 or 10. The 9 or 10 years is going to pass anyway. So if you be a little punk about it, say, well, I don't want to do it because then it takes so long. Well, then fine. Let the years pass and be exactly who you are today. Do you know how upset with yourself you will be? So don't let it pass you by. Don't do that. Don't do that. Realize the time's going to pass anywhere, so you might as well make something. Realize what a gift every moment of the day is. Every heartbeat you have. Your heart doesn't have to keep beating, but there it is. Appreciate that. Honor that. Honor that with hard work. You know, discipline. Get it done. So, yeah, we're on a very Coach Gabe morning.
It's good advice.
Well, I think so. I think it's proven to work for me and many others that I admire. I think people, they overanalyze things. And I do think that Carl Jung concept of the subconscious directing people's lives and them not being aware of it, I think that is one of the most significant things out there. And people just are not even aware of what's throwing them off. They're not aware of hang-ups and that they have a lack of confidence. So why do they lack confidence? And like all these stories they've told themselves subconsciously that they need to deal with in their own head. You know. So
Yeah, so if you want to talk more about that dirty bath water.
Oh, I got on such a tangent. Well, I mean, what is there to say about it? It makes me laugh when I see it. I did ask you though. Now you need to be honest because I'm always honest on you. I did ask you, would you get mad or jealous if I bought that soap? You said, yes.
Well, so
Why would you get jealous of such a? I don't want the soap. I'm not buying the soap. I have no need for the soap. I don't even use the bar soap in the shower. Do you know what I do? I do what most men do. I just squeeze more shampoo into my hand and use that as body soap. That's what I do. And I think almost every guy does. I don't need a bar of soap and shampoo. I have news for you. The soap that you put on your head is the same as the bar. It's the same thing. It probably just has more glycerin or something to make it a liquid. It's the same thing. It's all detergent. So I don't even use a bar soap. I use shampoo. So.
Well, Henry Theron says, who would want to bathe with dirty bath water? And Antonia 707 said the soap reminds him of Gwyneth's badge scented candle. So my thing with that is, like, I just think it's ridiculous, really, but also it's preying on men.
Oh, absolutely.
Preying on men to simp for them.
Yeah, it's worship of women for sure. You know, it's the worship of the feminine, which is a perversion in our society. I remember arguing with my brother years ago. See, because like many of us, even if we claim to be anti-woke and anti-leftist and all this, you have some feminist leftist beliefs, all of us, that you're not even aware of because we grew up in a gynocentric culture for the last 100 years, definitely the last 50, 60. It's been, they say patriarchy. It's been a matriarchy since the 50s, 60s, for sure. And like all things with women, it's deceptive and hidden. So you don't realize it's a matriarchy, but it definitely is. I remember I was just talking to my brother, and I don't know why we were talking about this. Was saying something about strip clubs and these poor women that work at strip clubs. They have to turn to that because they can't, they don't have opportunities. And I feel sorry for this. And my brother just laughs at me, and he's like, "Strip clubs don't exploit women. He's like, strip clubs exploit men. What are you talking about? Some lazy sex, you got some sex-starved guy, whatever, and looking for some femininity. Is like goes in there and throws his paycheck away for nothing, by the way." And when my brother pointed that out, my brother's a psychologist and a therapist. When he pointed that out to me, I realized how true it was. And that's kind of like the trickiness of like wokeness and feminism, that it's right there in all of our minds, and we don't even know it because we've been hypnotized by it our whole lives, music and movie and TV and all that. But when I think now of like, oh, the poor little put upon stripper and this and that, I laugh at myself. Like, what a dumb thing for me to think. That is stupid. It doesn't make any sense. And it is just exploiting like lonely men and stuff like that. Absolutely. So I think, and as you were saying, Adrian, the bathwater thing, it's playing into that. I can see the bathwater thing like as a joke. To me, it's more like it's funny because it's stupid, So it's like, okay, who would really want this? I don't know. It's like just kind of dumb. It's funny in that way. I hope it's not erotic to you. That's weird to me, but hey, man, it's your life. So it is strange to me. And how does that even work? Do they have her like take a bath at a facility somewhere, and then they take that water and they use that water when they make their soap? Is that how that works?
It would have to be.
Well, for it to like be legally true, it just has to be her water, right? So I was telling you last night, don't you think she could just like dunk her toe in a swimming pool? It's like, okay, I was in that water. You can use all that water. Like, couldn't they just do it that way? I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing. I don't know at what point does it become her bathwater? How far does she have to get in?
Well, I'll tell you this. As a businessman, it's good marketing. It's very crass, very trashy, but it gets attention. And the number one thing you want to do with marketing is get attention. That's why I'm announcing today at Big Man Comics, I'm going to have Gabe El-Taib's bathwater soaps available with my next crowdfund. And you cannot get a refund if there's some beard hair in it or something like that. That's too bad. It's just kind of how it is. But yeah, definitely, I think there might be a big market for it.
Possibly.
So yeah, big burly guys bathwater. Who doesn't want that?
Antonio 707 says I use shampoo to shave in the shower.
There you go. It's efficiency.
He says he hasn't bought shaving cream in almost 20 years.
Why would you? I don't even use shaving cream or razors. I use, hair clippers. I use that to trim my beard, and I always have like the 2 millimeters of stubble. So I don't clean shave. I don't like it. I don't like clean shaving. I don't like how it's itchy, and then you sometimes get those little tiny white zits if you clean shave. I don't like doing that. So I've had a beard for like 8 years or something now. So I might, when I lose some more weight, I've lost like 60 pounds. But when I lose some more, my face is a little thinner. I don't have a fat face or anything, but when it gets a little more chiseled, maybe I'll go clean shaven for a while. Once I define my face a little bit more. So you go from stuffing your face to defining your face. It's much better that way. When you look back on like the anxiety problems you had and how you're soothing it with like food or alcohol or whatever, women, it is kind of absurd when you look back and go, wow, I ate an entire package of pecan sandies. That's like 30 cookies. I ate that in 10 minutes. It's kind of obvious that that was an anxiety problem. Looking back, it's kind of obvious. In the moment, you're not so sure. In the moment, it feels totally normal. Again, this is that thing I talked to you about, that subconscious driving you, and you're not even aware of it, That's what you got to ask yourself. Why do I feel this way? Why do I act this way? What could this be? Well, and you'll get there. You'll dig and dig. It's like digging to the bottom of a trash can. It's really gross. It's really unpleasant. You might touch something disgusting. You might cut your hand on something, but you have to do it. You have to dig to the bottom of the trash can and figure out where that smell's coming from. And then get it out of your house. Get it out of there, And no one can do it for you. You got to dig through your own trash. But yeah, having a great time. You can ask my wife. I'm just not the person I was. I don't get excited. I don't get upset. I don't really get mad. I used to just have a short fuse, but I think that's all based on fear and anxiety. You're not really mad. You're really scared. That's what it is. You're scared of the world. You're scared of what's going to happen. You're scared no one's going to help you. Things are going to work out right. When you're hurt as a child, you're abused, you're neglected, you go into fight or flight mode kind of permanently. So you're always So you're expecting trouble, failure, danger, attacks. You're expecting it. So, of course, you're going to see it. And you're going to see it when it isn't there, unfortunately. And it's going to have you on edge constantly. And when you learn to become grateful about life, trust God, trust the people around you, that goes away. You learn that that's actually really bad. It's not just painful for you and bad for you. It's actually immoral to be that way because you're not being grateful for the great life that you have. And no matter who you are, your life is great just for the fact that it exists. You don't even have to exist, so be grateful. This is the wisdom I've acquired by constantly screwing up in my former years. So.
This is just funny. None the Miser says, I use a rusty straight razor I soaked in a rain barrel and banged it on the curb.
There you go. Yeah, I used to shave with the blue Bic razors, but I would get the little white dots, a couple, those little zits, and it was itchy, and I hated it. So I don't shave clean anymore. Even if I go to something fancy, a wedding or a movie premiere, you know me, I'm want to go to movie premieres. I realize even at things like that you're supposed to be in a suit and all this and that, I still have the stubble from using the clippers on my beard instead. So.
The mob seat says, going back to what you were just talking about, a person who always expects trouble always finds it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Absolutely. If you say all women are bad or liars or cheaters or whatever, and you get a girlfriend and she lies and cheats on you, it's bad. It does not absolve. What I'm about to say does not absolve her of what she did. She's still responsible. You helped create that. You did. You did. You did. You did. You put a sign on your forehead and you told her that was okay. You did. And that sucks to hear. It hurts to hear if you're the victim of something that you had a part in creating it. But we don't solve anything if we don't tell the truth. So if you think women are all slut, liar, thief, criminal, whatever, you're going to find women like that. Who said that? The mob seat?
Yes.
Yeah, very, very astute, very intelligent observation. Yes. If you believe something is there, you're going to find it. You're going to find it. That's that recency bias, right? It's sort of related to recency bias, where you say, oh, I'm thinking of buying a Tesla. Do you know how many Teslas you're going to see now if you think that? And they were always there. You just didn't notice them. So if you just think women are horrible, you're going to just find the horrible women. Of course you are. So.
Yeah, I've always, before I knew any of this, I had some friends, these two girlfriends. One was a complete user, and the other one allowed herself to be used. And I remember telling you, Gabe, like, users always find people who will let themselves be used, and the people who let themselves be used, they just attract these people that are waiting to use them.
Right. So it's actions speak louder than words. So whatever you think you are, whether it's true or not, you have a sign on your forehead that says it loudly, clearly to the world. You do. Yeah. Whatever you think about yourself and others, I am this and you guys are that. It says it on your forehead and everyone can see it. And it's always there. So you can't get rid of the sign on your forehead. Change it. I am good. I'm confident. I'm competent. And you guys love me and you want to support me. That's the sign on my forehead. And you say it through your actions. You don't just say it with your mouth. Talk is cheap. I can say anything. It doesn't make it true. You say it through how you choose to live. So when I come on YouTube and I ask you to buy my comics and I show you what I'm doing, and I talk to you, I'm saying I'm a very good artist. You love what I'm doing and you want to get it because it's going to be worth your time and money and it's going to make you so happy. I'm saying that through my actions. I have to have confidence to do that. If I don't believe myself, I'll shut it all down and go away, and then I'm telling you guys that I don't believe. Well, I don't want to tell you that because I don't want to not believe in me and I don't want to not make sales. I don't want to not do this for a living. So I need to act like a person who does it. So you might ask yourself, well, how do I convince myself to believe it? There's the trick. You have to do it before you believe it. You have to do things in your life with yourself that you don't believe about yourself. So if you're not confident with women, do you know how you become confident with women? You walk up to them, say hello, don't act crazy, ask them for phone numbers, blah, 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 and get rejected. Get rejected hard. Make a game of it. Try to get rejected. Go up and ask them what their favorite episode of Star Trek is or something. And once you get rejected enough, you just won't fear it. And then it'll go away and you'll have an abundance mentality instead. So if I do everything here online, trying to just kiss your ass and be afraid of being rejected by you guys, it would force me to be inauthentic. Then I wouldn't say what I really think about life, religion, politics. I say that. Will they buy my comic? You guys are going to read right through that. Because you could everything's just on your forehead. No matter what you say, people really know. They really know because that's just how we're built. We can really pick up on what people really think and say and all this stuff. So, and it's all through my actions, right? It's all through your actions. So your mind changes after your actions change. We all want it to be the other way. We all want to think different and then I'll act different once I think different. Like I'll eat healthy food and exercise once I love it first. Never going to happen. That's not how the human brain is designed. The impetus to love it and believe in it is the doing it first. There's a Christian rock band from the 80s, and I have one of their albums. I love it. Petra. It's rocking. And there's a song called Beyond Belief, and it's about having faith and stuff. And he has a line in the song. It's talking about when Moses took the Israelites out of Egypt. They got to the Red Sea. He puts his staff up, the Red Sea parts, the water parts of the Israelites walk through it, the sea closes in and kills all the Egyptians. But the line in the song, which is not biblical, it didn't happen this way, but I like the intention of the line, says the water never parts until your feet get wet. Like you got to take the step of faith first, and then the belief will come afterwards, And that is how our brains are. So I got to do things even when I don't believe in them first. And that is what will make me believe in it, is when I do it. So you won't believe in exercise. You won't believe in your wealth. You won't believe in your, being a better person, and you'll do it anyway. And then you will believe it after a while because you'll start to see, oh, it is real. It is true.
Right.
I'm doing it. So there you go.
The mob seat says like taking the first step on the invisible bridge in the Last Crusade movie.
Right. I mean, I've talked about that specific scene constantly in my own life. When I left DC Comics, that was the exact thing I was thinking of, was that movie, that scene. That I didn't have another job lined up. I got a wife, 2 kids, and a mortgage in San Diego, which is, recently been said the most expensive place to live in America, San Diego. And I didn't have another job lined up, but I knew I couldn't do what DC Comics wanted me to do because it's disgusting woke shit. I don't do that. I don't use my talents for that. So I took that step of faith, stepped on the invisible rock bridge and said, okay, I'm out of here. I'm not doing this anymore. And God will take care of me. And, I did not fall. I was lifted higher than ever. I'm doing better than ever. Way more artistic satisfaction doing what I want to do, telling this kind of stories I believe in. I'm a better artist, writer, colors, all of it than I've ever been. And make more money, way more money. And I made good money at DC Comics. You know what I mean? I made good money there. But I think people saw my actions, and I've had people to this day just swooning and admiring the balls it took to do what I did. Absolutely. It was absolutely stunning and brave, as they say. It absolutely was. And, credit to God for giving me the chance and the courage to do that,
And I would say, and now doing your best work.
By leaps and bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was no slouch in the mainstream.
Right.
3 of the books I worked on were Eisner nominated, and 2 of them won. So I was already damn good at this before I left, and I'm better than ever now and getting better every day. So, that's, but the water doesn't part until your feet get wet. You got to take the step. You have to take the step. You can't say, well, I'll do it when it's safe. I'll do it when it's guaranteed to succeed. I see so many people I know personally. They have a thing they want to do. They talk about it for years, and they don't mean it. They don't mean it. They talk, and it's years later, decades later, and they haven't done the thing. It's like, what are you waiting for, dude? What in the world are you waiting for? So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I, from my own experience, as someone who has worked through getting better at something, I used to be like extremely shy, and just so self-conscious, worried about conversations that I had with people, like mulling them over in my head, like later thinking, oh, why did I say that? Beating myself up, just feeling so dumb. Like if I had to speak in front of like a group at work, I was felt like I was having a heart attack. I would have rather some accident happened than have to go in there and go to the meeting and say what I had to say. And I was so tired of being like that. And I think people do see these flaws in themselves, and they are tired of it, and they don't like it, and they want to change, but it's taking that step to change. And I was just like, I don't want to be like this anymore. So my first step to break out of that shyness, before I would not even be able to speak here right now like I am, I decided to join the welcome team at church. And I thought, I'm going to put myself in the position where I don't have a choice but to talk to people. I have to say hi. I have to say welcome. I have to hand them the flyer for church. And it was my first step in getting away from that, because it was so awful. I hated it, and it really helped me break out of that. But you have to make the conscious choice. You have to say no more.
Right. You have to be tired of it, tired of your own BS. And it's only when you decide something. And decide means, okay, I believe it, and I'm going to do it. I believe this is what I'm going to do, and then you actually do it. That's what a decision is. There's wanting and there's decision. And wanting, who cares? Wanting doesn't mean nothing. So.
Yeah, Ramdog says it took the Dallas Rippaverse meetup for me to start making editorial cartoons, and it's been about a year now. The Mob Seat says, yep, sink or swim, develop skills.
Yeah, that's true. You put yourself in that position where you got to do it. So I remember, I think I was talking to my brother about exposure therapy. Again, my brother's a trained therapist and all that, has a psychology degree. And I think it was him who was talking about people afraid of on airplanes. And the only way to get over that is to go on an airplane. Now, I do not have a fear of flying. The only fear I ever had was upside down roller coasters. Got over that. Very mysterious to me, because I'm not that kind of person. I'm afraid of heights, afraid of this. Not a phobia guy, but for whatever reason, roller coasters bother me since I was little. No longer. But it was something about people people afraid of flying. They'd have to drive by the airport and look at the planes, and they're freaking out doing that. Extreme cases of trauma, phobia, stuff like that. And eventually, they go to the airport and go inside the airport and look at and they're screaming and freaking out that. And it's just yes, the only way you're going to change anything is through action. Not words, not thinking, not reading a book, not watching a YouTube video, blah, blah, blah. Do all those things, learning. But then you have to go do them. Because I think a lot of people get stuck.
Well, I'll go to another seminar. I'll watch another podcast. I'll buy another audiobook. I'll do more and more and more and more, just study. And that's a chicken shit way to keep yourself from ever actually having to follow through. It's a little safety mechanism. Your fear is tricking you that, well, if I just watch enough podcasts, I'll never actually have to put up or shut. So don't fall in that trap either. Don't just, always tune into this show with me and listen to me, but don't just listen to me. Go and do it. You have to go do it. You owe it to yourself. You're worth it. You are worth that trouble, that struggle, that hassle. You're worth it.
Yeah. Lucas 98 says, hello, is there any chance we'll see a crossover at some point? Say Chris Tanaka crossing paths with Tyrus, for example, or is each title set in its own continuity separate from the other books?
That's not something I've really considered. I'm not against it. Just on the business end, you just have to work out the contracts to make sure everyone gets their share of the money and this and that but I don't see why not. The Tyrus stuff does have fantasy in it, mutants, time travel, ancient civilization. The Dean Cain stuff is realistic. It's set in the real world. There are no magic powers or superhero powers. It's just an action adventure, a lot of spying and guns and stuff. But I don't see why not. I'm down for anything if it's entertaining, fun, uplifting, and people are going to like it. And so, yeah, I'm capable of that. It'd be something to consider. I'd like to get this first one of the Tyrus thing going. I think the Tyrus thing, we're moving things back a little bit time-wise. We want to take our time to get the launch correct and this and that. I was going to try and push Empyrean out before the end of the spring, like June 20th or something like that. And I was like, I'm not going to force myself to do that. The book is done. It's at the printer, this and that. But the marketing stuff, we're working more on developing now. We have email lists, we have this and that. But there was a big meeting today with some partners on how to figure out how to market this correctly, how to launch it. So we're leaning towards, not set in stone, we're leaning towards launching Empyrean around Comic-Con. Do not hold me to that. And then I guess Tyrus would be bumped probably to the fall. I would like to get it out so people could get it, maybe get it for Christmas. So get it before Christmas, get it as a gift for Christmas. We'll see. Don't hold me to any of that. We're still discussing a lot of things. But yeah, I'd be open to crossovers and stuff like that. I talked to Dean yesterday. I was texting him that we got to talk more about the Dean Cain sequel. I've already written it, but I would like to rewrite it. But I was talking about meeting with him. I'm going to see him next week, so I want to talk to him about it. And so yeah, we got to figure out what we're doing there. But yeah, we got a lot of great stuff. I'd cross it over if we could come up with a good story, which I know we could, and everyone wanted to do it, and fans were excited. Why the hell not? It's like chocolate and peanut butter. Combine them. It's even better. They're both great alone, but why not combine them? It's fun. So, yeah. Because what I don't do in my comics, I don't have this personality really. I don't over-define things. You can buy one of those books and it's like, this is exactly how the Starship Enterprise's engine works, and the transporter, blah, blah, blah. And it makes all the rules. When I write all the fantasy and the magic for the Tyrus comic book and all the, if there's time travel or mutants or whatever, I don't explain it. I don't need to explain it because it isn't real. I don't have to justify how it works. Obviously, it's not real. This is not real. But the problem with over-defining, which is something really nerdy people really like to gotta know every detail. I think that's not a good technique in your world building because then you painted yourself in a corner. If I say the magic or the superpowers, whatever, works this way, then later when I have a new idea about writing, I'm like, oh shit, I can't do that because I defined it so heavily. So to me, I just like to keep it a little mysterious. It's not a laziness thing. I think it's more fun to leave things unsaid to the audience and let the audience's imagination fill it. And I don't think that, I know that. That's actually researched and studied. That's a writing technique where you don't over-define things. Like when they say in the first Star Wars, I knew you'll follow. We fought together in the Clone Wars. It's a line of dialogue. When George Lucas wrote it, he didn't know what the Clone Wars were. He didn't know what it meant. No one knew what it meant. They made it up decades later what the Clone Wars were. It's more fun when they don't tell you what it means. The suitcase of Pulp Fiction with the golden glow, they'll never tell you what's in it because Quentin Tarantino doesn't know what's in it. So I think a lot of the things in the Tyrus stuff, you don't define it. You don't have to tell everyone everything. It's not smart. You should not over-define things because you really paint yourself into a corner creatively. Because if you define things and then you have to contradict them later, that's breaking one of the number one rules of storytelling, which is verisimilitude. Right? That's a $30 word, verisimilitude. All it means is the story agrees with itself. It doesn't have to be realistic, but the example I always give is like in Game of Thrones, Jon Snow is facing off with a giant dragon, and he can't kill the dragon, so he escapes in his Jeep Renegade 4x4. Doesn't make sense, right? Because Jeeps don't exist in that world. Jeeps exist. Dragons are real in the story. But when you put it together like that, when it was never established, now it's like, what the hell am I watching? So you have to be very careful when you're defining your world and magic and powers and mutants and the blah, blah, blah. If you paint yourself in a corner, you better be happy with what you decided you told the audience that absolute truth was of your characters and concepts. So I'm very cognizant of that as I work to not over-define things. So that's a long way of saying, yeah, I do it.
Well, it's time to wrap it up, but just last comment before you say bye. None the Miser wants to know if it's chocolate and creamy peanut butter.
Oh, creamy peanut butter for little children that pick their noses and eat boogers, or crunchy peanut butter for men everywhere that don't have to buy Sydney Sweeney soap because they could actually take her on a date because they got chompers more powerful than anything you could imagine that could crunch that crunchy peanut butter. I think the guys who like the creamy peanut butter, maybe they're not strong enough to handle crunchy. It's like, you know, maybe it's maybe we should call you Twinkle Toes if you love creamy peanut butter. You know. So there you go. It's chocolate and extra crunchy peanut butter.
All right.
You want to say bye?
Okay, guys, go to Big Man Comics. Get a copy of Dean Keen, All American Lawman #1. Imperium is coming. Tyrus is coming. Great things are coming. You're going to love them. You're going to have a great time reading this stuff. Follow me on X on Big Man Comics. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I'm Gabe on Facebook and Instagram. On TikTok, what am I? Big Man Comics 1?
Yes.
You got to put a link in the description for TikTok. I got to grow the TikTok. I'm going to put up these drawings I do here. I can turn these into short videos, like 30 seconds or a minute long, and I'll post a bunch of those to TikTok. That'll be the content for TikTok. Follow me over on TikTok and here on YouTube. Hit the like, subscribe. One thing before we leave. Everybody right now who's watching, hit the like. I will wait. Hit the like right now. You want to. I need you to. Thank you. Hit the like. And then now that you're done with the like, hit the share. Click share, then click Facebook or Twitter or whatever. Please do that right now. I need you to do it. I cannot do it for you. And I know you want to do it for me. All right, guys. I'll be back every Monday through Friday, 11 to noon. Big Man Comics Live. I'll be drawing comics, taking questions, talking about life, and having a great time. Have a great weekend. You are winners. You can do it. And we're going to continue to win here at Big Man Comics. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.